I'm Rob Wozniak from Preservation Works, and currently I am here on this facade, this gabled end of this facade, about to do some cleaning. And this is a pretty rudimentary process, but I use something called the ThermaTech. ThermaTech is made by Restorative Techniques in the UK, and they make a superheated water cleaning system, which essentially makes hot pressurized water above the temperature of boiling water under pressure. So it allows for the water to come out as a stream, and yet it's very hot, so it tends to clean extremely well. It will remove algae, lichen, dirts, paints, especially latex paint it's quite good at. It does not work on extremely hard materials like carbon deposits. It does not work on lead paint particularly well either. For the moment, I'll just fire this thing up. Typically, one should at least minimally wear eye protection, and depending on how loud this is, there might be ear protection required as well. It's a very efficient machine, delicate, in that it's not going to damage the masonry because we're keeping the pressure fairly low. And we're also not getting real up on tight on the mortar joints or anything else. There's about a little less than 2 gallons of water that come out of the machine in a minute. And as I said, the water is very hot. You can see the steam being made, but you can also see the water is, not all of it is that hot, and it cools very quickly on the system. The nice thing about this, the nice thing about the ThermaTech is that the water is so hot, it kills everything. And even days after this is done, the wall will still be continuing to get a little bit lighter because it's really killed all of the lichen. This is the north side of the building, and it's been a long time since it's been cleaned, if it's ever been cleaned. So this is our chance to kind of spruce it up a little bit. You don't want the tip to get real close to the brick, even in low pressure. The pressure is sufficient enough that you could start to etch into the brick or the mortar joints a little bit. So you're wanting to keep it, the spray roughly the size of a brick, maybe a little less than that. Enough to do the job. This is a super easy process for the ThermaTech. Sometimes things don't move along quite this well. This is extraordinarily hot. That's the one. It's not particularly dangerous unless, of course, you touch that area, in which case you could be in for a big surprise. Like I just was when my arm bumped into it. This water is about, it's like 120 Celsius right now. That's what the thermostat is set at. It'll probably be a couple of degrees less than that by the time it gets out of the hose. There's a 50-foot run of hose that it comes out of first. Even at low pressure, you want to be diligent not to let the tool sit for too long in one place, unless you're maybe removing a little bit of paint or something. Even then, you have to be a little gentle. So these are lichens and algae that grow in the mortar joints. They also grow on the north side of any facade, just generally, unless that facade is extremely alkali. And even then, over time, the algae and lichens will start to grow on it. So it'll grow on these mortar joints as they grow older. It is a very slow process. So by doing this, we've got more than a few years probably before it'll come back. It will eventually come back. I would assume, because this is original mortar joints, it's very possible that this has never really been cleaned. It's very possible. I'm gonna say it was about from the 20s. It's kind of an unusual building because, as you can see, it's a Flemish bond, but they took the bricks and they turned them on their sides, and it's still a 2-wythe wall, and it's, as far as I can tell, this is not like a balloon frame inside, that this is actually 2-wythe of brick, but they just chose to do it this way. They did the garage this way, and the builders did some neighboring chimney over there. You would ask, why would someone want to do this to their building? Vanity, of course, it's one thing. It looks better when the building is clean. Technically, the algae is eating the mortar joints. It's eating them incredibly slowly, so you're not really in risk of having a mortar joint failure due to algae and lichens, moss, things like that. However, it can be a little bit unsightly, and so people tend to want to get this, addressed. In this case, they have a nice pool here and a yard to enjoy, and so looking back on the building, it's less than unified. The rest of the building is actually pretty clean. It doesn't have those lichens building on the facade. The other reason to do it, and this may be a more pertinent to masonry restoration, is that prior to repointing a building, there's a lot of, on any side of the building, there is still a lot of patina that happens. And if you can remove some of that patina and then spot point the building rather than entirely repointing the building, you can match your mortar joints much better. If the mortar joint is clean or fairly clean, then your patch, you can match to that. Otherwise, you're matching to a dirty mortar, and either you make your mortar too dark because of the dirt, or you make it too light, in which case it takes a long time for it to meld with the rest of it to make it more uniform and less visible. So we eventually will probably do some masonry work up top on this building. I think it needs it. So this is a precursor to that. By just cleaning these joints, we're setting ourselves up to be able to make a matching mortar that won't be too obtrusive or obnoxious. So those are the primary reasons, I would say. Just cleaning buildings in general, has to do with aesthetics. And sometimes there's plant growth, vines, for example. This tool actually works extremely well to remove all the little tentacles, or whatever those things are called. I'm going to call them tentacles, that are attached to a building from vines that grow up it. And the heat and pressure both kills the vine as well as causes it to separate from the masonry too. The big reason for using this tool is because of the control. So by turning the pressure down, you're able to either remove paint or algae, lichens, dirt, whatever it is, but you're also using a low enough pressure that you're not causing damage. Power washer, cold water power washer, won't be very effective on these lichens. It won't kill them, so they'll just keep on growing. If you use a hot water power washer, you'll use a lot of water and in order to reduce the pressure, because the way the pressure is typically controlled on a hot water power washer is by changing the size of the tips. This machine, we have to be careful here because it wants to spew a little steam, a little water, but this machine has one tiny little tip on it, and it only comes with one tip, and that fan tip rather, is built in. You don't switch it out, and so you have control over it in the sense that of pressure. You can't change it to be like a different shape. It's only one shape, but it's specifically designed for exactly what it's doing. This machine is used very frequently in historic restoration in Europe, oftentimes in England, oftentimes in monuments and other important significant structures. We had a tour where it was being used in Bath, at the Bath Abbey, for example. When we were there looking at the machine, they took us on a tour, which was very fun. Quite an opportunity.